What's up, Winnicott? I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jackson.
This is our last show for the year. Really flew by.
Yeah, bummer.
Though it's the last episode, we still got some great stories to show.
Hey, once this is all through, want to hit the arcade down at the beach?
Wait, I know where this is going. This is your lead-in for your story on Playland.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, I mean, who hasn't been to Playland down on the beach? Thought I'd do a story on it as we head into summer break.
Let's check it out.
Playland, located in Hampton Beach, was first opened in 1972 by two brothers named Frank and Jack Kennedy. As the years went on, Playland Arcade began to become more popular over time due to the fact that it was all along Hampton Beach coast, and many people seeked employment to spend time working there. Though, there are still some issues that Playland Arcade face, like newer technology on arcade machines being produced, which, if it breaks, they have to send it back to the factory for it to get fixed, and repairs like those are not cheap. While Playland Arcade is only open for the summer, many people eagerly await its reopening every single spring. This episode will cover the stories of previous employees and also a tribute to the owner of Playland Arcade, Frank Kennedy, as he sadly passed away on January 24th.
So this is Playland Arcade. I spent 10 plus years working here. It was a family-run business by the Kennedy brothers. It's a historic site. They've owned it for 50 plus years now at this point. Since 2022 was the 50-year anniversary. Playland was bought in 1972 by the Kennedy brothers, both Jack and Frank, and I worked for Frank for about 10 summers all the way through college and the year graduating. The Kennedys always knew that the old arcade machines that people grew up on that started taking their kids to Hampton Beach on vacation, this brought back a ton of memories. So I'm really glad to see, I haven't been back in a few years, that a lot of these old arcade games are still here, they're still working. It's really kind of a lot of history that you see here. So if you look at up here on this Pac-Man machine, I mean, this has been here since 1981, and it's still working great. This one over here has been here since 1984. So it's really cool that they keep up with these machines, maintain them, and allow people that kind of grew up here to come back and relive some of that nostalgia. So I love that they're updating the arcade and they're adding new machines, but they're not getting rid of really what made Playland what it is and what the Hampton community knows what it is today.
So I would surf at the wall all the time, and when I turned 16, one of the older surfers, Jacko, Keefe, had come up to me and asked me if I wanted to work down the beach, and I said yes, and he went down and had worked there and got us in and ended up going to work. So I did say, he was like a father figure, always there for us. He was always available. You called him, if he didn't answer, he'd call you right back, and you ever needed anything, you could go to him, whether it was a question, whether it was help with your homework when we were doing homework in there while it was open in the off season, guidance in some avenue that he may have already been through, and if he didn't have the answer, he'd find the answer and help, or at least direct us where to go. Even to the point when I bought my first house, like, he was right there to say, hey, discuss some things to make sure that I didn't make a poor decision. At my wedding, like, again, couldn't be a more influential person for me and my family.
I said, I wonder if I could go in and just I lied about my age is what I did. And I went to work there when I was 15 because I had gone in there as a kid and it looked like it was so much fun. I decided to go down and ask them one day, and I went in and I said, are you hiring? And they said, can you start today? Well, Frank and I, not only did I work for him for 6 years, but he was also a friend of mine that I felt that I could stop in and see any time. In some hard times when I was working and I'd either lost a job or there wasn't a lot of work, I worked in the trades. If I saw him, every time I would leave him, he would say to me, Kiefer, do you need any money? And he was always willing to help. That was the big thing. Frank helped everybody. And it's still tough to believe that he's not here. I never thought of him as getting old because he always was the same person. He always had the same sense of humor, always was just a solid guy.
There you have it, folks. It seems that everyone that worked at Playland Arcade really enjoyed their experience and have a few stories to share with people. This is Jackson Winters for WHTV.
That story was pixel perfect.
I guess you could say we hit a new high score.
Jackson, I have something for you.
What is it?
Here, it's a job application.
Ew! Don't say the J word around me. I don't want this. My idea of summer is sleeping in late and hanging out with friends.
Well, if you change your mind at any point, you can check out this story on summer jobs.
I'm listening.
Lots of Winnacunnet students have jobs, but I wanted to find out, Just how many students here at Winnacunnet work, and how many of them work over the summer? Here's a breakdown of the national average of students who work. According to the Department of Labor, 54.5% of people ages 16 to 24 hold jobs. This number also sharply grows during the summertime due to high schoolers and college students holding summer jobs. In 2024, the youth labor force grew by 2.1 million, or 9.9%, from April to July.
My name is Sully Duffy. I work at the Airfield Cafe. I do work over this summer. On Sundays, be there or be square.
I work at Pluto's Closet in Portsmouth.
I don't have a job.
I work at the Old Salt. I will be working this summer.
I work at Cornerstone at Hampton.
I sent out a poll to students at Winnacunnet to find out how many of them worked. Of the 113 students who answered the poll, 74.3% of them have jobs, 13.3% of them are actively looking for one, and 12.4% do not have jobs. Of the percentage who hold jobs, 77% of students work all year long, and only 23% work only in the summer. This means that Winnacunnet students hold jobs at 19.8% above the national average. I also talked to some teachers about if they worked over the summer or not.
I'm the Executive Activities Director for a summer camp for an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old who happen to be my own children.
No, I do not work over the summer.
I do spend some time doing some work. We do a little house painting over the summer, a couple other teachers and I. And it's great because it's pretty flexible and we can kind of determine how much we want to work.
Mrs. Langmaid, the school registrar, also gave us an insight on what requirements students must meet to work. She said, for students ages 14 to 16, there are applications for a work permit in the guidance office. Once this paperwork is filled out by you and your employer, it is returned to the guidance office and we complete an actual work permit for the student to bring back to their employer. She also touched on how many hours a week students can work. Students can work up to 3 hours a day on school days and 23 hours per week on school weeks. They can start no earlier than 7 a.m. and work no later than 9 p.m. On non-school days, students are able to work up to 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week. Also, there are no academic requirements to hold a job. Lastly, I reached out to Callie Keefe, the general manager at Los Olas here in Hampton. She let us know what she looks for in student employees when hiring. She said, for student employees, we look for people who are outgoing and polite and personable, have strong communication skills, and generally have a positive attitude. We look for people who have a good work ethic and come to their shifts ready to work, not just to socialize. Being on time is very important, as well as being a team player and being open to learning new things. Whether you are working this summer or not, make sure to enjoy your summer. For the last time this year, for WHTV, I'm Jack Hafey.
So, what are your thoughts?
I'm cool with being a freeloader for the time being.
Whatever. Can't convince them all. Only like 40% of teams have summer jobs anyways.
I mean, let's just brush that fact off.
Oh, speaking of which, I went to the art show back in May and spoke to some of the artists who showed their work.
Really? Let's see it.
The art show occurs every May at Winnacunnet. The show is on May 13th in the auditorium foyer, running from 6 p.m. through 8 p.m., and featured pieces of artwork from WHS students. There are many different types displayed, including paintings, ceramics, jewelry, and digital art.
Hi, my name is Everson Babiak. I'm a senior here at Winnacunnet. My sustained investigation was about whales and anthropomorphizing them to show how they would react to climate change and how they're impacted. My favorite piece is this one right here. It was kind of the inspiration for all of my pieces because I worked on the Granite State this past summer and really enjoyed working there and seeing all the whales.
You know, I really love when students invest something personal into their artwork because that's where the magic happens. We talk about inspiration, and I think that's when a person gets an idea that something they want to make that they're so excited about that then like you got all this energy and ability to be persistent and work for the idea that you want to see become a reality. And so that is pretty magical to see someone get so excited and turned on to an idea they want to make in art.
Hi, I'm Carly. This is all my work for AP Art. So this is my favorite piece. This is based off of northern New Hampshire. It's based off of Bretton Woods. It's kind of, you can see it a little bit in here as well. It took a long time to make. I really like the shape of it. I like the use of trees that I used. I think it was really fun. And AP Art was a really fun class. I enjoyed it.
Well, I love everything about the art show, but specifically I like seeing everything come together because I've been holding on to artwork from trimester 1 and trimester 2, and so it's nice to dust everything off and get it back out. And then despite us being kind of in the art department all the time, like I don't get to see all the work necessarily from jewelry class or ceramics, so I get to kind of be an audience member too and get to see everything on display as well. So I love that. I like that the seniors get to have their moment with the AP sections. They each have their own wall. But yeah, and I enjoy that the public and the school community gets to see it too.
I guess it's inspired by my favorite weather that I decided to do 2 years ago. It's just basically a story I made. My favorite art piece actually has to be one of these. I really like it how it turned out. Practice a lot and don't be scared to change like your art style, because I didn't used to draw humans and I really wanted to, and it's probably the best decision I ever made.
Anyone to learn how to draw. That's the fundamental part of being an artist is drawing. Everything else kind of comes from that. It's the walking before you run in art, because it teaches you how to see, and you can't really do anything until you learn how to see things that you're looking at, the things that you want to include in your art. It's more involved and more in depth than just looking at things, and then it's only by studying those things and looking hard at them can you learn. First you learn the rules and then you learn how to break the rules. So drawing is really step one as far as I'm concerned.
This year's art show is fantastic, and stay tuned for the one next year. This is Brandon Roy for WHTV. That was some art from the heart.
I was pretty drawn in.
Did you notice anything weird about the teachers these past couple of Fridays?
Other than the fact that they keep giving me pop quizzes, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, for the past 5 weeks, teachers held Underground Spirit Days every Friday. Unbeknownst to us students, many teachers dressed a little differently at the beginning of each week. The themes were Blackout Day on May 9th, Denim on Denim Day on May 16th, Dress Like a Student Day on May 23rd, Socks and Sandals Day on May 30th, and Band T-Shirt Day on June 6th.
They really got me there.
Well, those secret spirit days aren't the only things that the teachers have been cooking up. There's also some new classes in town.
Really? Let's take a look.
This year had some new classes that are running. Some of these classes include Collaborative PE, Film Studies, Poetry and You, Sci-Fi Fantasy, and True Crime Literature. Let's hear what some of these teachers have to say about their new classes.
I created this class because I always had students who were coming to me asking to borrow my true crime literature that I was reading in class. So from there, I took all of these different genres that were out there to include graphic novels, short stories, internet sleuths and specials on YouTube and Netflix and all these documentaries that existed in what has really become a very popular genre. And I put together this class where students can explore the stories, how they're told, how that impacts the victims, what role the media plays. Really, we talk about it from all different angles and focus on storytelling and why these things intrigue us the way that they do. Well, I want to see them practicing all of the English skills, reading, writing, speaking, research, all of those things with information that is really interesting to them. So I hope that they walk away with more of an awareness of the stories and the things that have happened in the true crime world, but also to see them continue to develop their English skills.
My new class is Poetry and You. It's a elective that I was really excited to bring to Winnacunnet. Of course, we've had poetry before, but I really wanted to bring a space where students could deep dive into poetry and really have fun, both exploring other incredible authors and their work, but also their own voice as an author and as a poet. I think poetry can feel a little hard to access. So I like to say that this course makes everyone a poet and that it helps everyone find their own voice in that authorship. When students take this class, I want them to just feel empowered as poets, both to be able to uncover emotion and context in other people's poetry, but also to kind of speak truth to their own experiences as poets. Robert Frost said, "A poem begins as a lump in the throat," and I think we all have our own experiences of that. We all have stories to tell, so I hope they experience that in Poetry and You, and everyone should sign up next year. It'll be fun.
Yeah, so I'm teaching film studies. It's an elective. We look at films throughout history, and we track sort of the evolution of filmmaking and how it's changed. And then we also use those films as a jumping off point to practice our analytical skills and ultimately come to a greater appreciation of this art form. I hope they enjoy it. I think movies are meant to be entertaining. They're meant to be fun. But I also hope that at the end of this, that they have the more language to use to talk about films. I also hope that they can come to more meaningful understandings of the films that we watch in our class, but also that they watch on their own. I also think that it's a great opportunity to practice a lot of the same skills they work on in their English classes. How to break something down, how to articulate their ideas. We do a lot of writing about these films as well, and I think something engaging like a movie is a great way to work on those skills too.
Ms. Cronin is the Director of School Counseling. She hopes that these new classes will open up more opportunities for students to learn and find their passions.
So our goal not just for these new classes, but for any of the elective options and core classes that we offer, is that we hope that students can find something that they're interested in, or something that will give them, some future aspirations and something that they might want to do after high school. So hopefully we have classes for everyone. We want to reach all students and have something that all students are interested in, as well as having them learn about different unique experiences. And so hopefully if there's someone out there that, may have some interest, but has, trying a new elective, that will give them an opportunity to see if this is something that they really enjoy, whether it's just for fun or if it's for a future career. We want students to have choice in their learning.
If you're interested in these classes, contact these teachers or your guidance counselor for more information. This is Brandon Roy.
And Jackson Winters.
For WHTV. Those classes are very much worth checking out.
I can't wait to see what new experiences these classes will bring.
For quite some time, though, there's also been other ways to get an experience that the current electives don't provide.
Are you talking about ELOs?
Correct. In case you don't know, that stands for Extended Learning Opportunities, and Camden's final story was on the ELO Expo.
It's so sad that he won't be here next year.
Yeah. Let's check out his last story, shall we?
All right, y'all. I'm here at the ELO Expo. I'm actually hiding behind my trifold right now because I am taking just a minute away from presenting to tell you a little bit about what's going on here. So, as you can probably see by all this chitter chatter around me, we have a lot of presentations going on about what students have been doing while they're using the ELO program. There's probably me right now. I think I include myself in there. And so what is happening is that all of the parents and the community members and all the people that have an interest in this program are coming to help celebrate the students that have been putting in the work. And I've seen many different uses of the program. I've seen something with microgreens. I've seen a few familiar faces. You've probably seen Jenna before on a previous episode. And overall, it is very refreshing to see that the ELO program is having such a nice turnout, and this was all, of course, organized by Annabelle Holmes herself. She organized this whole event all by herself, and it's just been so nice to see that Winnacunnet has such a big impact, even outside of its walls. But enough of what I have to say about it. Let's see what some of these kids have to say about it, huh?
Oh
Hi, my name is Yasmin Bahania. I do my ELO on the Arabic language. I've been studying the Arabic language for 2 years now and has broadened my vocabulary and be able to speak, read, and write in the language. I think today with the FUS ELO Expo was a great way to showcase and broadcast everyone's ELO. Shout out to Annabelle for putting this together. I thought it was very clever. And yeah, I thought it was very great.
Me and Andrew Martin Bix, he's off wandering somewhere. We did part of the wastewater ELO. It was a big group through the Hampton wastewater plant and company Veolia, and then halfway through we all split off to our own projects on issues we cared about. So we did our project on wastewater reuse and neighborhood scale systems. I think it was a good night. It was really interesting to see everyone else's projects, and it was fun to have this being my final presentation as opposed to like talking to the teachers one-on-one.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Chapman. Through my ELO, I decided I'm going to college. I'm going to Embry-Riddle University, and I decided I'm going to do Naval ROTC there, and then enlist in the military after. And then I got to fly the flight simulator that we have here, learn how to get my pilot's license, and then pass my instrument written test. And I think this event has been really successful, and I've made great connections through it.
When I was trying to plan what I wanted my ELO to be this year, kind of my last opportunity to do something, I was trying to decide if I wanted to do something that was going to have to do with what I'm going to school with next year, or maybe take advantage of this last opportunity to do something outside of that realm. Basically kind of went in thinking I was going to help with marketing, social media things, and as I was digging on the website, I found the expo and thought, well, we have time to plan this. I would love to do this, and I think it's a little bit of a different way to present things, and kind of especially if you've had multiple ELOs this year or over the last couple of years, they've been kind of the same way to present as your final, and thought it would be something different, and it kind of all came together. So it was great. I think we had a great turnout. We had, I want to say it was right around 60 kids presenting, which is a lot more than you would think, you know, full dining hall. A lot of people's families came to visit. We had a lot of administrators. Mr. McGowan came. We had the superintendent come. We had the superintendent of the Hampton schools come. And then a whole lot of community partners. So, you know, realtors that people worked with, teachers people worked with. It was really great. I think we had a great turnout.
Okay, I think I found a bit more of a secluded spot. But, I mean, as you heard from them, this has been an amazing way to revive a tradition that had been put on hold since COVID affected the community. And it's always lovely to see these ways of appreciating our students and our community. For maybe the last time, this has been Camden David with WHTV.
If you have an idea for an ELO, speak to your guidance counselor about it.
That's all we have for this one, folks.
Well, it's been a while since I've been on an episode that wasn't on the short and sweet side. This was a long one.
Just put the fries in the bag.
See you next year, Winnacunnet.
Bye-bye. It's over this time. You finally got it right. Hopefully. Unless Jack.
Yeah, Jack's gonna come out and be like, okay guys, so I changed my mind. Yeah, Jack's gonna be like, I changed my mind, guys. I actually want it to go back because I didn't like the skit.
Yes, let's go.